I'm Jeff Allen Wolf, and this is A World Gone Mad. And when it comes to standing up for democracy, I'm not backing down. Here we go. The Memorial Day sticker shock. Gas prices near all-time highs. Memorial Day weekend is coming, which means millions of Americans are getting ready to travel, see family, fire up the grill, and stare at the gas pump like it just insulted their mother. Gas prices are climbing again. People are irritated again. And the entire country is basically trapped in this weird cycle where every month something costs more and everyone just pretends this is normal now. And then President Trump responded to complaints about gas prices by saying the following. This is peanuts. I appreciate everybody putting up with it for a little while, but I don't even think about it. What I think about is you can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. Peanuts, sir? People are out here pumping $20 into the tank and the gas gauge moves 2 pubic hairs above empty. Nobody thinks this is peanuts except billionaires, defense contractors, and apparently whoever prices pistachios at the airport. And then comes this part of Trump's remark. I appreciate everybody putting up with it for a little while. Oh, fantastic. The suffering has been acknowledged. That's like somebody punching you in the face and going, hey, buddy, appreciate you being cool about this. And look, Trump's larger point was about Iran and nuclear weapons. Fine. Most people agree Iran getting nukes would probably be catastrophically bad. But Americans still have to survive this week while the geopolitical chess match is happening. That's the disconnect. Politicians talk about global strategy while regular people are sitting in their car doing advanced mathematical equations trying to figure out whether they can afford groceries, gasoline, and electricity in the same week without accidentally summoning Satan. And this economy is wearing people down now. Food prices are crazy, insurance is crazy, rent is crazy, utilities are crazy. Every single bill shows up every month like a WWE wrestler entering the arena ready to beat your ass with a folding chair. Nothing gets cheaper anymore either. Have you noticed that? Prices shoot up instantly, but they never come back down. Ever. America now works like a hotel minibar. Once the price goes up, congratulations, that's your life now. And the scary part is people are becoming emotionally numb to all of it. Gas jumps another 50 cents, and Americans barely react anymore. We just slowly put the nozzle back, stare into the distance, and wonder which bill dies this month. Trump stock trades are in the news. One of the strangest things happening in America right now is that we've apparently normalized the idea of a sitting president making thousands of financial trades while simultaneously making government decisions capable of moving entire industries. Just this year alone, Trump reportedly made more than 3,700 financial trades worth tens of millions of dollars. That averages out to roughly 59 trades a day and about 9 trades per hour. 9 trades per hour. At that point, you're not running the country anymore. You're basically running a hedge fund with nuclear codes. And the conflicts here are what makes people's eyebrows launch directly into orbit. Many of these companies actively do business with the federal government. Trump reportedly bought Amazon and Microsoft stock months before the Pentagon announced agreements involving both companies. Earlier this year, Trump also reportedly bought Nvidia stock shortly before the AI chip maker received permission to export advanced processors to China. Shockingly, and I know that will stun everyone listening, Nvidia stock then shot upward like somebody injected it with radioactive cocaine from the future. And then there's Intel. Trump reportedly bought a large share of Intel after the administration had already taken a major stake in the company. Intel stock is now up something like 178% this year. According to reporting from Popular Information, Trump also bought between $1 and $5 million in Dell stock. And then, 9 days later, Trump publicly told people during a speech in Georgia to go buy a Dell computer. Seriously? At this point, the stock market is starting to look less like capitalism and more like late-night infomercials for oligarchs. We're about 3 weeks away from a president standing behind a podium yelling, "But wait, there's more." Now, to be fair, the Trump Organization insists Trump himself has no direct role in selecting or approving the trades and receives no advance notice of the activity. Fine. But here's the problem with that defense. The appearance of corruption still matters. Historically, presidents avoided this kind of thing specifically because Americans tend to get a little uncomfortable when somebody controlling federal policy also appears financially attached to the companies benefiting from it. And apparently we're now supposed to look at all of this and go, well, probably just a massive coincidence. Sure. And probably my dog Cooper is secretly running a cryptocurrency exchange out of the laundry room. Well, let's be honest here. If the average American somehow bought stock in companies right before favorable government announcements magically sent those stocks upward, federal investigators would descend on their house so fast the neighbors would think the cartel got busted next door. Regular people can barely do their taxes without feeling like they accidentally violated the Geneva Convention. Meanwhile, wealthy insiders operate in this magical legal twilight zone where everybody shrugs and goes, well, technically nothing's been proven. Yeah? And technically I'm 6'5" tall if we ignore measurable reality. And the bigger issue is Americans are becoming numb to this stuff now. Every new conflict of interest just gets absorbed into the daily noise like it's another weather update. Politicians, billionaires, corporations, lobbyists, everybody at the top somehow keeps getting richer while regular Americans are clipping coupons trying to save 87 frigging cents on cereal and praying their debit card survives another trip to the grocery store. That's the part poisoning public trust in this country. People don't think the game is fair anymore because honestly, how the hell could they? Did you hear the latest from the IRS about investigating Trump and his family for past tax issues? One of the most amazing developments in modern American politics, I say that sarcastically, is that we're apparently reached the point where the IRS now resembles a mall security guard being told, "Sir, respectively, please stop investigating the emperor." Because according to reports, a new settlement agreement now bars the IRS from investigating Trump and his family over past tax issues. And honestly, at this point, why even pretend anymore? Just replace the IRS building with a Spirit Halloween store and call it a day. Think about how insane this sounds to normal people for 5 seconds. The average American misses one line on a tax form and immediately starts sweating like they're hiding bodies in their basement. People are terrified of accidentally claiming the wrong microwave as a business expense. Meanwhile, we're now casually talking about settlement terms that reportedly prevent future investigation into President Trump's past tax issues. Completely normal country. Totally healthy democracy. Nothing weird happening here at all. And the thing that drives people crazy is the double standard. Because regular Americans know exactly how this works for them. The IRS does not arrive at your house going, "Good news, Jeff. We've decided to permanently stop looking into your taxes because honestly, this whole accountability thing feels negative." No. They'll audit a waitress over $37 and a Chili's gift card from 2018. But when powerful people get involved, suddenly everything becomes complex legal frameworks, settlement structures, executive discretion, ongoing negotiations. In other words, a giant cloud of expensive lawyer language designed to make ordinary people's eyes glaze over while rich people quietly walk toward the exit carrying huge sacks of money. And what's amazing is how numb everybody's becoming to this stuff. 10 or 15 years ago, this would have detonated cable news for 6 straight months. Now Americans hear, the IRS can't investigate a president's family over past tax issues. And people just keep eating mozzarella sticks like they're watching weather updates because the public's exhausted. Nobody even knows what qualifies as a scandal anymore. Every week feels like somebody spinning the wheel of constitutional crisis on a deranged game show hosted by a poodle with a law degree. Now look, legally, there will be arguments about what this settlement actually means, what authority it covers, and whether it's appropriate. Fine. Lawyers can spend 6 months screaming at each other on cable television while charging $600 an hour to say, well, technically, but politically, optically, to average Americans already struggling to pay bills and terrified of the IRS themselves, this stuff looks absolutely insane. Because once people start believing there are 2 completely different systems of accountability, one for regular people, another for the wealthy and politically connected, trust in institutions starts collapsing fast. And honestly, a lot of Americans crossed that bridge a long damn time ago. One of the biggest takeaways from Tuesday's primary elections is that Donald Trump's endorsements still carry an almost terrifying amount of power inside the Republican Party. Because Congressman Thomas Massie, who, let's be honest, is not exactly some raging liberal communist hiding Che Guevara posters in his basement, he suddenly found himself getting politically kneecapped after breaking with Trump. Trump backed Ed Gelrain. He defeated Massie in Kentucky, and nationally that result sent a very loud message to Republicans thinking about wandering too far away from Trump politically. And it was not just Massie. Senator Bill Cassidy, who spent years dealing with backlash from Republican voters after voting to impeach Trump, also lost his Republican primary battle Tuesday. Meanwhile, Trump-backed Andy Barr won the Republican nomination for Mitch McConnell's open Senate seat in Kentucky. So if anybody inside the Republican Party was still under the impression Trump's influence might be fading a little bit heading into the midterms, Tuesday night basically picked that theory up by the ankles and threw it into oncoming traffic. And watching this unfold is honestly like watching a political nature documentary where one lion wanders slightly too far from the pack, and suddenly every other animal starts looking around nervously like, oh no, Steve made eye contact with the dictator again. Because this is the thing about Trump endorsements now. They're not just endorsements anymore, Wolfpack. They're basically political bloodbaths. At this point, the Republican primary system is starting to resemble medieval royalty. If Trump points at you and says, "This one displeases me," every consultant in Washington immediately starts stress vomiting into a reusable Whole Foods grocery bag. And Tuesday reinforced something both parties already know heading into the midterms. Trump still dominates Republican voters at a level modern American politics honestly has not seen in decades. You can dislike that reality, celebrate it, fear it, scream about democracy collapsing on TikTok, whatever. But politically, it's real. Because Republican candidates now understand the assignment very clearly. Stay aligned with Trump. Don't wander off the reservation. And for the love of God, never accidentally sound independently sentient on cable televisions. Otherwise, you wake up the next morning politically zip-tied to railroad tracks while campaign donors slowly back away into nearby bushes, pretending they suddenly lost your phone number. And the scary thing for Republicans is this creates a weird long-term trap heading into the midterms. Because what wins a Republican primary in deep red districts does not always play the same way nationally in swing states and suburban districts where elections actually get decided. So now the entire party is trying to perform this bizarre balancing act, where candidates simultaneously attempt to sound 100% loyal to Trump while also convincing independent voters they're not auditioning for a reality show called Government by Rage Tweet. And Democrats, honestly, should not get too comfortable either, because Trump-backed candidates continue pulling huge energy, huge turnout, and huge emotional investment from Republican voters. Donald has basically turned political endorsements into professional wrestling entrances. Half the country hears Trump supports somebody and reacts like Ric Flair's music just hit at WrestleMania. And meanwhile, normal Americans are just standing outside this entire political circus, trying to afford the groceries, the insurance, the rent, and gasoline, while the ruling class spends every waking moment screaming at each other like drunk wedding guests fighting over the last shrimp at a Marriott buffet. That's what makes modern politics feel so insane now. Every election gets framed like the final battle for civilization itself. Every candidate is either portrayed as America's savior or the physical manifestation of societal collapse. And after a while, voters just become emotionally exhausted from all of it. But Tuesday's elections absolutely reinforced one thing. Whether people love Trump, hate Trump, fear Trump, or wish he would disappear onto a private island with no Wi-Fi, he is still the gravitational center of Republican politics heading into the midterms. Let me know how you feel about this, Wolfpack. Email me, wolfpacktalks@gmail.com. I want to hear from you. And if you enjoy my podcast, if you think they are informative, and if you get a laugh or two every now and then please support the podcast through my GoFundMe. The link is in the description below the episode. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf. This is A World Gone Mad. I'll be back Friday. Until then, I urge you, the Wolfpack, remain skeptical, question everything. Please don't lose hope. And most of all, stay alert.